Hello guys, I want to present my presentation about Hindu Buddha Kingdom, Kutai. This is my slide, and let's go to the first page. Hindu Buddha Kingdom. Kutai is a historic region in East Borneo, and also name of the native people on the region with the language of the correlation name in their history. It is one of the earliest ancient kingdom in the Indonesian history. The naming of the Kutai kingdom basically given by historian and archaeologists, and the assumption in the interpretation are in the accordance or in line with the term of Kutai from Chinese term which means jungle, and Indian research Kutai Maradapur, which means big kingdom. Kutai location. The major river of the region was and is the Mahakam River. Kutai is the 4th century Indianese kingdom located in Kaman Estuary or Muara Kaman in the Kutai area, East Kalimantan. Yupa of Kutai, a gift to the Brahmin priest. Existence of Hinduistic Kutai could be recognized from the existing 7 yupa found. Yupa is a stone pillar used to bind a sacrificial post in the form of animal or human to be offered to the gods. In the stone pillar there is a serious inscription carved on its surface. The Prince Biran inscription in the Palava script of Indian reading, a gift to Brahmin priests. The style of the script has been dated to the last half the 4th century. It is believed these religions were brought to Indonesia around the 2nd and the 4th centuries respectively, when Indian trade arrived to the island of Sumatra, Java, and Sulawesi. The difference between Yupa and Prasasti. The visual appearance of Yupa inscription were alike of stone monument, but the big difference was the Yupa is stone pillar or sacrificial post monument and specifically telling only the history of Kutai kingdom. The Prasasti or inscription is the Hinduistic stone inscribed which told any other kingdoms. There are to have 3 functions of Yupa. The first as a pillar of sacrificial post, and the second telling local tale of Kutai, and the last is commemorating King Mulawarman did. Yupa of Kutai. Take a close look at the Yupa of Kutai below the famous human king. The great Kudungga has a famous son, Asmawarman, who, like Amuman, was the founder of noble dynasty. He has their famous sons, who are similar to the 3 holy fires. Among his 3 most prominent and well-known sons because of his firmness, strength, and patience is Mulawarman. Maharaja has offered Suwarnakam shoulder sacrifice. It was for the sacrifice that this memorial stone was erected by the chairman among those who experienced their second birth. Analysis of Kutai Yupa. The name of of 3 rulers are known for the inscription. The first ruler mentioned is Kudungga. The Lord of Men, Narendra, his son Asmawarman, started the founder of the dynasty, and the grandson of the first and son of the later, Mulawarman, called the Lord of Kings. As Kudungga doesn't seem to be a name of Sanskrit Hinduistic style, while the other 2 are, it is presumed he was a leader of local origin, Dayak people, and it was a son Asmawarman that adopted the Hinduistic belief. It was Mulawarman who let this inscription be made. Analysis of Kutai Yupa. While nothing of the military action of his to predecessor is known Raja Mulawarman, is said to have conquered his neighbor in battle. He is also said to be increased the land of Kutai by a local ritual called Asmaweda. Meda. This ritual required a horse released to his land. The footsteps of the freely roaming horse were taken as evidence that this land belonged to Kutai. Mulawarman was also known for his tribute of gold to his god. The name of his kingdom is not mentioned on the inscription, nor do any other document in other countries relate to a kingdom at this time in this region. The series of content analysis from Yupa. Yupa first mentioned the beginning of Kudunga, which is in the name of an Indonesia who founded the great kingdom of Kutai. The Yupa also explained that during the reign of King Asmawarman in the Kutai kingdom, a ceremony known as the Asmaweda ceremony was a horse releasing ceremony intended to determine the boundaries of the Kutai kingdom. The next Yupa stated that if the Raja Kudunga was succeeded by Raja Asmawarman, then he was replaced by his grandson, Raja Mulawarman. The story is told in Yupa. When during the reign of Raja Mulawarman, it was a time of great prosperity prosperity for the community, considering the nature of Raja Mulawarman, who was very kind and the virtues in Yupa found after King Mulawarman was not talked for or no longer mentioned, who replaced the position of king in the Kutai dynasty or kingdom because of the limited historical source available. The series of content analysis from Yupa. The content of Yupa which were found next were about aspects of social life existed in the 4th century in the kingdom of Kutai. In Yupa, it was explained that there were already many Indonesian people who were influenced by Hindu teachings, with the teaching of Hinduism at that time making a kingdom of Kutai can be established more regularly and neatly as pattern of Indian government. Of course, at the time it was very rapid progress considering that Indonesian people could develop in accordance with the pattern of the themes. However, the Indonesian people are still developing tradition from the Indonesian people themselves. The content of Yupa which are found next are about aspects of cultural life in life. The development of culture that existed in the heyday of the kingdom of Kutai was very closely related to belief of religion that were followed none other than Hinduism. One of the Yupa mentioned if a holy place was nicknamed as Paprakechvara, it is a vast field which is nothing but a place for the worship of Lord Shiva. This shows that the Hindu religion adopted in the Kutai kingdom was Hindu Shiva. Thus, allegiance are further strengthened by the large influence of the Shiva kingdom of the Shiva religion and the significant role of the Brahmins in the Kutai kingdom. Kutai conclusion. So, number one, Kutai was one of the earliest ancient kingdom in the Indonesia. History located in Kaman Estuary, Kutai area, East Kalimantan, and the naming of the Kutai kingdom basically given by historian and archaeologists, and the assumption and the interpretation are in accordance or in line with the term of the Kutai from Chinese term and Indian research criteria Maradapur. And the second, the existence of industry Kutai could be recognized from the existence 7 Yupa found the Prince Bear inscription in the Palava script of India reading a gift to the Brahmin priest. The style of the script has been dated to the last half the 4th century. The third, the physical appearance of Yupa and inscription were alike of a stone monument, but the big difference was that Yupa is stone pillar, or sacrificial post, monument, and specifically telling only a story of Kutai kingdom. And the fourth, the function of the yupa. First, sacrificial post. Second, telling a local tale of Kutai, and the last, commemorate King Mulawarman good deed. And fifth, the name of the three rurals are known from the inscription. The first rural mentioned is Kudungga, the Lord of Men. His son Asmawarman, style of the founder of the dynasty, and the grandson of the first and son of the later, called the Lord of Kings, Mulawarman. Number 6, as Kudungga doesn't seem to be a name of Sanskrit, Hinduistic style, while the other two are. It is presumed he was a leader of local origin, Dayak people, and it was his son Asmarwan that adopted the Hinduistic belief. It was Mulawarman who let this inscription be made. While nothing, the number 7, while nothing of the military action of his two predecessors in now Raja Mulawarman is said to conquer the neighbor in battle. He is also said to increase the land of Kutai by local ritual called Asfa Retjua. The ritual required the horse released to his land. The footsteps of the freely roaming horse were taken as evidence that this land belonged to Kutai. And the number 8, Mulawarman was also known from his tribute of gold to his god. The name of kingdom is not mentioned, and on the inscription, not do any other document in other countries relate to be a kingdom at this time in the region. And the trivia, my trivia. Number 1 question: where does the name Kutai come from? And number 2, what are the name of the kingdom of the Kutai kingdom? What are the name of the kings of the Kutai kingdom? And the number 3, mention 3 functions of Yupa. Number 4, where is the kingdom of Kutai? And the last, the difference between Yupa and Prasasti. Okay, thank you.